All right, welcome everyone. It is me, myself, and I. Talking a little bit about this training week we're going to go through. I want to modify it compared to last week. Again, the whole point of this process I'm going through is so I can use my now adult brain, my sports science brain, to help put together a training program that actually maybe gives me a little bit more of an effective chance to get better at what I'm trying to do. I've mentioned my hip pain, I've had knee pain, and all this stuff. People are going to ask me, Max, you're always hurt during this. Probably part of it. It's intentional. I'm trying to push myself right at a very fine line. I don't have a large window, and so I'd rather try really hard and the ship goes down in flames than not try that hard. So I'm walking a very fine line. But with that, I do have my sports science brain to hopefully work through some of those aches and pains. So the hip does feel much better today. But reflecting on last week and how I pushed myself really hard and how now this week I'm going to basically go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Intensity on the court. So high impact, high plyometrics. My main plyometric days. Now it doesn't mean I have to be dunking a basketball. I just have to do my higher intensity plyometric days. Now will I do single leg stuff today because of my hip? Maybe I'll push that to later in the week. Will I taper back Wednesday as a whole so I give myself a little bit of a break, but still doing my maybe just plyometrics and some shooting work, possibly as well. But we start the week off with a plan and a hypothesis that this is going to help us feel better. So come Friday, I should feel better. I'm dealing with a cold. As a dad of a little one, you get exposed to more colds and germs you ever could imagine thanks to daycare and stuff. And this is one of the many. Thankfully, it kind of got me this week. I got this new exercise machine, by the way, and I'm going to be adding that in my program, and you'll see it. I'll talk about it and kind of use that in some of the videos here. But it's a concentric dominant one, and since I got my cold on Friday, basically, well, I kind of had a little bit of it like since last week, but really my wife and I got much worse maybe like Friday, Thursday even. I've been kind of feeling like, oh, my energy levels are down, whatever. I'm still trying to find ways to lift, but not crush myself. And it seems like when it's like really heavy metabolic stuff, really heavy lifting, it's exhausting your muscles, your body has to recover from it. So this machine, which I'm trying to finally get at, is like a concentric dominant machine, meaning that there like isn't any eccentric loading on the way down. It's a pneumatic air pressure machine. And so it's going to be really nice to utilize for low impact stuff, just working on concentric stuff, which is going to pair nicely with my court work. I haven't decided how I want to organize that in yet. Will make that call after how I feel today. I think I should do that like on Tuesdays, Thursdays. If I'm doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the most intense in the court, because part of me wants to just go really intense Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then really pull back on Tuesday, Thursday, and just kind of do my lifting portion with some court work, but maybe that's not the smartest move. We'll see how it goes. I'll make the call after this workout. The moral of the story is that it's nice to have different equipment that allow for different loading demands. So I'm not just lifting a barbell. I'm not just doing this or doing that. Traditional type work where it's consistent type of loading, you might modify. Concentric dominant, or more eccentric emphasis, having bands pull you down, or maybe more isometric. And then thinking about your training kind of in terms of the full week. So instead of thinking I'm going to train today, and then Monday, then Friday, or whatever, you think about the whole week and what you want to get done that week, and you start to divvy it up and break it apart and allocate that throughout the days. Now as training for basketball, that's the tough part because I'm going to do things like speed shooting. So how does speed acceleration shooting work into my programming? How does lateral defensive work? How does, God, you can name 1,001 other things. How does general conditioning? How does my hip? How does all this stuff fit into my program? And all that really matters. It really does, because you can't just think about, oh, I'm going to lift, some single leg lunges and think I'm going to be just totally fine. Or I'm going to, I'm going to be fine. I mean, you can't just lift and think about that in isolation. On my single leg lunges, I'm going to do those. And that was like, some level of eccentric loading. And then that's not going to have an effect on the court when I'm doing high eccentric loading of sprinting, and vice versa. If I do high eccentric decelerations to jump shots, that's obviously going to impact my body's response to the eccentric loading of the lunges and stuff. And so when I was just trying to jump high, it's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. It's a very isolated event. Now that I'm trying to get back in total shape, much more complicated. And I'm running into that wall of, excuse me, trying to do a lot, but also trying to do enough. And making these videos is nice because it's a way to reflect for me. Hopefully helpful to you too. And part of that reflection process, because I was working on jumping high, some days I'll jump not as high because I'm incurring a lot of load. But remembering I'm by myself, by the way, so it's easy to have a really short time period of reflection. Be like, oh man, yesterday I did this, but what about today? But now, I was saying about last week, well, I jumped really high Monday, Tuesday. So even if I had a crappy Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe because I was getting sick, by the way, or have a cold, even today might not jump as high. I had an excellent all-time best days Monday, Tuesday, all-time best. That's awesome. If I can have all-time best days once a month, that's fabulous because I know that's going to raise the basement as well. You can't just worry about the peaks, how good you are on certain days, but also how much better your bad days are. And so keep that in mind. Now the goal of this new modification of how my programming, I'm organizing it, hopefully we don't have so many valleys, and maybe not so many peaks either, just kind of looking to be at 90% a lot more versus like dipping into like that 85% realm of readiness. 95 to 90 is kind of what I'm aiming for. And then building off of that. But we'll see how it goes. You never really know. I appreciate you guys listening. I'm going to go work out here. All right, take care, y'all.